Hey brothers, I want to tell you about a website called blackmenszone.com. Now, Black Men's Zone is a site that specifically targets black men. It's a place where black men talk about issues that solely affect them. Now, at Black Men's Zone, the topics will range from news to society, sports, technology, business, food and recipes. Some brothers got to cook too. Gaming, and some of your brothers like doing some of that. Health and fitness, got to get your workout on. Music, movies, and many other topics. Now, there's not many forums around these days for black men, and because black men have to create them. Now, this particular website is more of a forum based, something simple, not social media. You can write what you need to write, say what you need to say, get on, get off pretty quick. But if you're interested, brothers, to at least go there, and I want you to check it out, engage in the topics, go to blackmenszone.com, sign up for an account, and get engaged in the conversation. You have a brother, that was a police officer, and, these brothers that's on these police departments, they deal with the same, white supremacist race soldiers as well. They don't get cut any slack on these departments. We've done stories about black police officers for many years. So you have a brother, that was a police officer in Lexington, Kentucky. They say he was fired earlier this year after they claimed that he provided sensitive information about several of his fellow officers to Black Lives Matter protesters, who marched through the city last summer. It said for wanting police reform. Okay, but in the lawsuit that this brother filed, said the former cop denies the allegations. He said he fed protesters sensitive information. He said it wasn't already public knowledge and demands that he be reinstated to the police force. He said that I've always said that this is bigger than me. He said I have my issue and say that I need to be made whole from. He said, but there are systemic changes that just have to be made. And he said it's been there. Okay. So this brother's like 49 years old. He was hired back in 2007. And he held his rank until he was in 2019. He was a sergeant. He said he was bumped back to patrol officer, before he got fired. He said he said forced inside the department, kept him from climbing the ladder. He said some ranking officers made a point to keep him from advancing. Oh, that sounds about right. They always don't want black people to advance. They have to do all kind of sabotage and everything else to keep black people back. You understand? He said, so when he started his police agency, he said his goal was to help make some changes by going up the ladder. He said, you got to be 10 times, he said, the best at everything and be sharp. So he said, so he did that. He said he started moving up the chain and animosity came. Yeah. That's right too. He said people started anointing him as the next chief, and these, Mzungus started getting attitudes. He said he never really got a chance to explain to them. He said anything. He said until they already made up their minds about him. No, they don't want to. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell all black people something. They don't want you to be their supervisor for no reason at all. They don't want to respect your authority or anything like that. Like, so you have to make an example out of them when you do get those type of authority, and let them know, don't play with me. I'm not the one. I said, it's just not going to happen. But they were threatened by that because he was moving up. He was doing a great job and everything. And they wasn't, because they usually, some old mediocre, low class, white supremacists that usually get these jobs. Right. So they said that at the time, the city council had voted to fire him back in February, but he filed his lawsuit. There's a lot of things in there. He's talked about that the police department is made up of 603 officers, but only 49 of them are black. That's a problem. I've always said that they need to have, how is it they have quote unquote diversity quotas in every other job except that one? Have you noticed that? Why is it that they don't have 300 officers that's black on that police department? Why only 49? Why is it always overwhelmingly Mzungu? You notice that? They want to make sure that enforcement wing of white supremacy stay overwhelmingly Mzungu. They do not want a bunch of black officers on the force, okay? So he picked up the lawyer that represented Breonna Taylor in his lawsuit. He said that citizens made 30, informal complaints. He said on racial bias in 2018, 2019, all but 2 were dismissed as unfounded and none resulted in disciplinary action. He said more than 1,000 informal complaints were lodged against officers between 2011 and 2020, and less than 8% resulted in any kind of disciplinary action in that period. He said that, when he grew up, he didn't want to be a cop, but he said it was appalling. He also said that he was subjected to a hostile work environment based on his race. He said he detailed years of discrimination he faced and said the department officials never took him serious about the hostile environment. He said there were memes circulated around the officers, as they was depicted Milton as a menacing officer to white women. Okay, they said one ranking officer told Milton to turn his black, face around. It said during a crisis negotiation meeting. He said he also claimed several members of the department referred to him as token boy. It said one lieutenant who worked alongside him for years suggested that Milton will one day be his boss because he's black and he's the chief's boy. What are they calling a black man a boy for? You understand? So they were so mad about that they tried everything they could to get him out of there. But let me tell you something. We have seen videos, I've covered them, where you have these Mzungu cops going up to the Proud Boys, the alt-right, any other Klan group, and shaking hands with them and telling them different things. So I remember one video I saw where they were like, hey, y'all need to kind of move away from here because you're going to get arrested. You stay around here. So the brother was telling Black Lives Matter protesters, certain things that they needed to know so they don't get arrested. But see, black officers can't go talk to protesters and tell them, hey, y'all need to kind of move around, or y'all need to watch out because these particular cops coming out here, y'all need to move around. What's wrong with that? That's not sensitive information. You're trying to protect the community. He's trying to stay on code by warning them what's going on, right? He said that the history of Lexington white police officers, he said, committing misconduct, he said, had little to no accountability. He said one officer who had at least 17 citizen complaints filed against him between January 2018 and May 2019. He said time after time, the officer received no discipline until the initiated car chase that led to a bad crash in which several innocent people were severely injured. He said also suspended for 60 days, but he remained on the force. He said another one also kept his job after threatening a woman with a gun and using racial slurs. He said when the video showed the department chaplain punching a teen in the head while he was detained on the grounds, the chaplain was allowed to retire and collect his pension. So basically what the brother's saying is that you got a lot of white supremacists in the Lexington Police Department. Now, brothers and sisters, those of you who live in Lexington, Kentucky, watch yourself. There's a lot of white supremacists on that police department, and they're getting away with just being open white supremacists. Nothing's happening to them, okay? So he was saying that he wanted to win his case to be reinstated because that's the way he can get his pension. He wants his back pay. He wants everything that he worked for, and which I understand that 100%, and you should file for that. But understand something, on these police departments, like I said, it is rampant of white supremacists. And like you said, you had 603 officers, only 49 were black. That's done by design. Because they know if half of the police departments all over the country were black, all this stuff couldn't go on. It would be called out a lot more because you have more black officers. They would have, more backup. And then it would be, it wouldn't just be going down like that. And you know how these white supremacists are. If they can't be racist, they want to quit. That's how they are. Like, shoot, if I can't be racist, what's the point of living? Because that's the only culture they have. They created a culture of hate, and they love that culture. And if they can't be hateful or violent or abusive, then what's the point of living? I mean, that's not a way. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we can't live like this. We got to make sure to do what we got to do to black people. But the good thing is they're being exposed every day and everything is starting to turn around. I hope that brother do win his lawsuit and everything and be reinstated. But understand, like they're telling you from the inside, they're treating him crazy like this, and he's a police officer. So just imagine what they do to citizens in Lexington, Kentucky. Brothers and sisters, watch yourself. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story out of Lexington, Kentucky. Everywhere we go, I told you, in this wicked land called Babylon, you always in a war. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store.